Well, I didn't think this video was ever coming out, or if I would ever upload again, but here we are. We're getting ready to leave off. The Spyro review is right here and now with Spyro 3, Enter the Dragon. And I know I'm missing out on some gold by dodging Enter the Dragonfly, but that'll happen eventually. For now, I'm glad to be back and I'm ready, man. However, I don't think you guys are ready, because if you want me to be honest, this isn't gonna be a super positive review. Spyro 3 is a step backwards from Spyro 2, and is not the best in this trilogy. Let's dive in. It's got vehicles, 3 out of 10. Fuck! Nah, but in all seriousness, Spyro 3 was released in the year 2000, the final send-off from Insomniac after the absolutely amazing Spyro 2 ripped those rage. Just like the other two games, Spyro 3 was met with high praise, and is commonly regarded as the best in the whole trilogy. The game introduces many new things, such as allowing us to play as multiple characters, and giving us a bunch of vehicles just to name a few. The game also gives us a lot more exploration and collecting to do, as there is a lot more to collect in here compared to Spyro 2, which honestly for me is kind of annoying, but then again I am kind of impatient. The story is pretty simple. It's the year of the dragon, and everyone in the realm is celebrating and excited for the eggs to hatch and bring in a new generation of dragons. However, the sorcerer's minions and Bianca invade them and start stealing all the eggs to take back to the sorceress. Things were going smoothly until dumbass over here steps on Hunter, causing him to scream and wake everyone up. Spyro and friends try to stop her, but she manages to escape, and now it's up to you to take a dive in the rabbit hole and explore the new realms and collect all the dragon eggs. The new villain this time around is the sorceress, who is honestly just a miserable piece of garbage. Yes, I said it. Replaying this game now, even as a kid, I hated her. I don't think she's a good villain whatsoever, and it bothers me that there's zero interaction with her and Spyro throughout the game. That's what made Ripto and Spyro 2 more interesting. The interaction you get with Spyro, Ripto, and his friends made the story more interesting and honestly made me care about the villain and actually made me want to stop him. Here, it just feels so lazy and vanilla. Bianca is the only one that interacts with Spyro throughout the adventure, but she becomes good anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Off we go to the first of the 4 realms to explore. In each hub area, you have your usual gems and other collectibles to find. And you also have a character in each of them to buy in free from money bags. Unlocking them obviously gives you a new character to play as and unlocks more levels throughout your adventure. It also gives you very fun cutscenes to watch, and all of them involve kicking the shit out of money bags. It's glorious. Though I'm gonna be honest, the multiple character gimmick is not good here. I feel like in many games it really isn't executed all that well, but Spyro 3 just does it really poorly. All of these characters are extremely boring to play as. Sheila's levels are tolerable until you get to this miserable blind piece of fucking garbage. God, you suck! Sargebert controls like absolute ass, and each level feels like an eternity. Agent 9 is ratchet if it were made on the PS1, but absolutely sucked balls. And Bentley is slow, but probably the funnest one to play out of all of them. Not all the levels are bad with these guys, but I could only count on one hand which levels I enjoyed from all 4 combined. Most of these levels from all of the characters had me begging to go back to Spyro. It wasn't fun, but this one had me begging to play Enter the Dragonfly instead. There are 4 realms to explore, each with 7 levels, including a boss fight and a speedway. A total of 150 dragon eggs to collect as well. Bianca tells us that these dragon eggs are very well hidden and hard to find. She tells us after the first thing we see as soon as we enter Sunrise Spring is a dragon egg.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
The game is your typical Spyro game, and it's still as fun and as amazing as ever. Smashing vases and collecting gems and charging enemies is still as fun as ever, and each level introduces many missions in them to collect more dragon eggs and kind of help break up the gameplay a bit. Little nitpick I have here is that I kind of wish it was just one space like in Spyro 2. I don't know, it just made things cooler to me. The tasks in this game have one thing in common with some of the Spyro 2 missions, and that is simply, it is repetitive. A lot of the side missions are tolerable, and some are honestly really fun. There's also a lot that are just very repetitive, especially when you keep in mind that a lot of them are really stupid and boring vehicle sections. I didn't enjoy any of these. The submarines, the cannons, all of these things sucked. What pisses me off is that it follows Crash 3, where the most original thing they could do is just vehicle sections. While Spyro 3 is nowhere near the same as Warped with this, it still isn't good here. It's made even worse when you get to the final boss and the whole thing is a gauntlet of vehicles that don't control well at all. The saving grace out of the vehicle sections by far are the skateboarding missions. I had a blast with those and still do. These are absolutely worth the time and are probably one of the only things I didn't skip on my replays of this game. The levels themselves are still super fun. They look fantastic, they're fun to glide, collect, and explore, and the NPCs are still really fun to interact with. Spyro 3 by itself as a Spyro game, remove all the new stuff, is still fantastic. In some cases, it's a step up from Spyro 2, if not on par. The things that genuinely do bother me, however, is the lack of cutscenes when you enter and leave them. It was such a great touch in Ripto's Rage, and to see them take another step backwards and drop the idea entirely sucks. It isn't a make or break thing, obviously, but it's definitely something that is missed. Spyro 2 added so much more life to the characters and interactions, and Spyro 3 completely derailed that and made it all so plain. Instead of building on it, they kinda just went backwards. Speaking of vanilla, we haven't mentioned the boss fights. These things are like unsalted saltine crackers. So how you travel to the next realms is of course by beating all the levels in the main area. The NPCs travel back with you and wait by some form of transportation that will take you to the next level. In between each realm, you get a cutscene and a boss fight. The cutscenes, as you get further, show the tension continue to build between Bianca and the sorceress in these cutscenes, shows them creating some random monster last minute that you have to battle. The designs of them are pretty cool, but taking a step back yet again here, they are close to Spyro 1 levels of uselessness. Spyro 2, once again, had you interacting with Ripto, Crush, and Gulp, and led you to these fights so well. Again, you actually care about stopping them, progressing, and getting through. There's build up here that makes it all the more interesting and satisfying when you not to mention that all three fights are genuinely very well done. The fights in Spyro 3 aren't necessarily bad, but I really don't care about them. I feel like this whole thing was so lazy, and I just wasn't interested. More interaction and build up would have made things so much better. You established it in Spyro 2, you could have done the same here with 3. The designs at the very least are pretty cool. One thing that I'm obligated to mention as well is the amazing soundtrack by Stuart Copeland. The original Spyro trilogy is still up there as some of the best pieces of music in any video game, and Spyro 3 absolutely hits it home like the other two. Spyro 3 is such a confusing game for me. There's a lot I like, and a lot I dislike. The game still has the elite platforming like the other two titles, and the game is still fun when you play as Spyro. Many things in this game was poorly executed, especially the multiple character gimmick. One thing I do like with the story that I mentioned earlier, I didn't have a chance to get in depth with, is the interaction with Bianca, Hunter, and Spyro. There are many instances where you have all three together talking smack and just having great chemistry. Hunter has a hard-on for Bianca, and Spyro just wants to toast the shit out of her. They're very funny cutscenes that I really enjoy. It's a highlight of the game. It's a double-edged sword with Bianca though, because again, like I mentioned earlier, there's so much interaction with her and nothing with the sorceress as the main villain. You care about Bianca, but don't really care about the sorceress. So much interaction with Bianca and nothing with the main villain of the story. Bianca, like I mentioned earlier, ends up turning good anyway, so I guess the criticism is invalid. This isn't the only interaction you get either. You get plenty with the characters you free. The cutscenes that I mentioned earlier are great, and every single one of them once again has you beating the crap out of Moneyback. It's a fun time, and again a highlight of the game for me. They're hilarious. You get more interaction with them as you progress through the game, since each boss fight has one of them supporting you in the fight. As you get deeper in the game, Bianca ends up on your side after finding out the sorcerer's plans. She wants all the dragon eggs so she can take the wings off the baby dragons for a spell. Pretty dark stuff. Bianca frees Hunter after falling into a trap, and they go on to help Spyro to stop the sorceress. The build up to the fight again just isn't really great. Nothing cool or special like Ripto's fight. Not to mention the fight itself just freaking blows. All you do is have Agent 9 shoot down vehicles with choppy controls, and you have to shoot the sorceress with them until she finally dies. She gets knocked into lava, the dragon egg from her staff, and that is it. You get a fantastic cutscene for Spyro and friends showing the aftermath and what all the characters are up to. Spyro goes around looking for Hunter and asks around for him. All the characters know where he's at, but they won't tell him. You even got a cameo of Alora and the Professor nearly gives it all away. Spyro later finds Bianca and Hunter together watching fireworks, and now they're in love. Spyro watches the fireworks as Alora comes by him, and the game ends there. But this is what you get if you didn't collect everything. Collecting all the gems and eggs after kicking the shit out of money bags for the gems you spent, you unlock the super bonus world. It isn't really anything super special. You have the tedious minigames you did in the other levels and do challenges you've already done, and you get a bunch of gems out of it. You also get what honestly might be one of the worst fucking races in gaming history. Literally, what were they thinking here? Later in this level, you also have a really stupid surprise. And guess what it is? The sorceress! She never really died because lava in the world of Spyro is as effective as mopping the sidewalk during a thunderstorm. The fight is worse than the original one. You're on the god-awful UFO and you shoot her down. The end. Spyro 2 didn't even do the whole bonus thing best either. Spyro 1 easily beats both of them for that. Although Spyro 2 does give you the unlimited super flames, so that's pretty damn cool. That brings us to the end of Spyro 3. A game that is not as good as I remember. However, it's still a very solid game. The game still has its elite platforming that never gets old with the beautiful soundtrack and very beautiful looking levels to explore. The game unfortunately is held back by poor execution with the new things they tried doing, and takes a pretty large step backwards from Ripto's Rage. Ripto's Rage brought to the table so many things, and it made them all great. It's absolutely a step down, even if the game is still fun to play. Despite that though, Spyro 3, despite all the shit that I've said, still earns a rating of a 7 out of 10. I honestly was bouncing between a 6 as the final score, but while it's a step down from Spyro 2, it definitely is a step up from Spyro 1, which I rated a 6. And the game is still fun to play and worth your time. You look past the issues that I mentioned, you still find a fun, goofy adventure that's absolutely worth your time. Insomniac overall has created one of the best platforming trilogies of all time, and I highly recommend the whole trilogy for anybody. You're definitely missing out if you haven't played these games already. And that wraps up the Spyro the Dragon trilogy. Now I know I teased the Spyro Enter the Dragonfly review, but I'll be honest, I'm gonna keep that one aside for now. What was really important for me was to finish the trilogy itself. For now, I want to keep that aside. Test the waters, and see the list of videos I wanted to try working on. It feels great to finally have a video out again, and I'm sorry if this one was way shorter than the other one. But I have a goal in mind for how many videos I'd like to get out in a month, and I think I'll be able to keep up. I also have a special announcement for a separate channel with more content coming soon, so definitely keep your eyes and ears open for that one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesome content from this channel. Jaybills Games signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. It feels way too damn good to say that shit again. That feels way too damn good.